Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the November ServiceNow Knowledge Management Academy Analytics Overview. I'm Rob Martonsik, a ServiceNow Platform Product Manager focused on knowledge management with Now Assist. I am going to... I apologize. I was trying to start my video, but it doesn't want me to. So again, welcome to our academy. I am thankful to be here with my merry band of product managers in the analytics spaces. I'll let them do their own introductions at each of their sections, but for agenda purposes, Dan and Samantha are going to be speaking to platform analytics capabilities. I'll be speaking to our purpose-built knowledge management dashboards and knowledge portal. And Anthony and Cecilia will talk to some great things we have available for AI search. Safe harbor. We may talk about a few future-looking items on this call in conversation. Please follow the safe harbor guidance listed here and do not make any decisions based on those items until they're generally available. As for housekeeping, this session will be recorded and posted so everyone can share with your friends and family over the upcoming holiday season. Use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen for questions instead of the chat so that we can notate, answer, and post them after the presentation. Today's goal is a response to the most requested item on the last Academy, reporting for knowledge managers. We're going to break down our reporting options and capabilities provided in ServiceNow. We'll touch on purpose-built offerings available out of the box and some of the store offerings that we have out there. We have a lot to cover in a very short amount of time, and we want to leave some time at the end for questions. However, we won't be able to get to everything live in this short amount of time. We have a lot of great minds on the line, so please remember to use the Q&A feature during the call, and we'll answer what we can about functionality and intended purpose. Just to level set and to be realistic with the time that we have today here, specific detailed design or implementation questions will likely need developer engagement with professional services or a partner. With that, I'll turn it over to Dan and Samantha to talk about platform analytics. Dan?
Great. Thank you. So, yep, I am Dan Kane. I am a outbound product manager for there's all sorts of weird terms, but basically what we call for the platform admin applications role. So what it really means for me is platform analytics, performance analytics, reporting. That's really my primary purpose is to work with those applications and to develop content to share with customers in mass like this. So exactly like this, we do our own academies for platform analytics every other week. So which I know Rob will be talking about later, but just be aware of that, of just who I am. And then Samantha, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll go ahead into my content.
Hey,
if it's all right.
everyone. Yeah, of course. My name's Samantha. I'm also an outbound product manager, and I cover user experiences. And that really includes user experience analytics, which is what I'll be speaking to today.
Excellent, thanks. So part of the reason I wanted to have Samantha mention what her role is, because I wanted to get a precursor to this slide. Often what we hear is when we hear the term platform analytics, or the the analytics within the platform, it can mean a lot of different things to different people. Traditionally, it has meant just this first column, just the platform, just the performance analytics as that very first platform. That's what a lot of customers would look at it as. So we have, and there's actually even more than this. I'm just showing you a cross section of some of the technologies that are under the larger umbrella of what we call platform analytics. So there is performance analytics, there is reporting. Process mining is another capability that's kind of under the larger umbrella, although it is still a different technology altogether. But it's kind of under that larger umbrella. And as Samantha mentioned, user experience analytics. These are all different kinds of analytics tools we have. So what I'm really be focusing on is the performance analytics and the reporting side of this. So when we're saying and often the question comes up is what is the difference between I can run a report or I have this thing called performance analytics. Reporting, I'll mention that one very briefly first. Reporting is really what we think of as most as really kind of what a reporting tool does, and that is I'm gonna run a query, I'm gonna write a condition builder condition or query against my knowledge base table or against my knowledge use table, or that I'm just gonna look at knowledge use and say, show me all the articles that were that were accessed in the last month. That this reporting does a really good job of doing that, of doing the sort of counting. Tell me how many, what's happening right now. It's very much the real time. So understand specific records that I need to address, finding records and it's real time, it's dynamic, and it's really measuring the outcomes of a workflow or of a process. Performance analytics, on the other hand, is a little bit different concept. What it really is about, it's first and foremost, it's about trending. It's about saying, I want to analyze a trend and then breakdowns or data, or what we call data slices within those trends. So a trend might be the number of might be like looking at your knowledge usage, but instead of looking at it as what's been used in the last month, what I'm going to look at instead is say, what has knowledge usage been like historically for the past 3 months or 6 months up to now? And then I can even break that down further and say, well, which knowledge base is being used more? Which category is being used most? That's where performance analytics really comes into play, because what performance analytics does is it actually writes a score to a system table every day. It says that, so as of yesterday, here's how many knowledge uses we had. And then it'll capture a score for each one of those different categorizations that I was talking about, like which knowledge base did it come from? So if there were 100 knowledge views yesterday, of those 100, I'll write that score. Of those 100, 25 of them came from the IT knowledge base, 50 of them came from the HR knowledge base, and so forth. So performance analytics writes that every single day. So what you have is a score for that day that's captured. So 6 months from now, I still have a score for November 12th of 2024. When I'm looking at a dashboard, I can show each one of those dates collectively on one chart and say, here's how it's changing over time. So it's really about that changing over time and focusing on what action do I need to take to make this process or this workflow perform better for what my business needs. Let's go ahead. You can move on then, because I know. And that's kind of what we're talking about here is the performance analytics part of that pillar of the platform analytics. It's a subset of the capabilities within platform analytics as an application. And so, as said, what we're doing is we're collecting and storing KPIs over time. We call them indicators. So it's a store. So instead of looking back from a report, I could run a query that says how many knowledge articles were active or active right now. I can go back and say how many knowledge articles were active as of a certain date, because they might have been active back in July, but you have 20 of them that have been retired since then. So my chart will show me what was active back in July as opposed to just skipping the retired ones. So it allows stakeholders to focus on actions that lead to the achievement of organizational goals. So we're talking about more of that kind of the application of the technology first, and then we'll get into how you would actually apply it when Rob is talking here. So we can go ahead on, and then I'll wrap up here just a second. So another very common question, these kind of common questions is, it's often confused that performance analytics is thought of as being kind of advanced reporting. It's a replacement for reporting, or it's advanced reporting, and that's not the case at all. It really is a different use case. It really is, I want to analyze the process that's happening and see, where is my process failing, or how can I tell my incident, how can I tell my incident fulfillers how well they are using knowledge, so they can focus on specific things like, am I applying knowledge to incidents often enough? That sort of thing. So it helps them take action as opposed to just looking at what the results were. So it's the extension. It improves workflows, and it's based on its aligned business objectives. So these are things that you predefine. I predefine the metrics or the KPIs that I want to capture within performance analytics. What it is not is, it's not a standalone reporting system. We have a reporting tool for that. We have reporting for that. It's not a replacement for that reporting. It's not really ad hoc. It's not like the show me how many how many open knowledge articles we have that were written by person X. That's ad hoc. That's not as much of what performance analytics is about. So with that, I believe that is the last of mine, because I know I want to give time for everybody else. So yep, go. So I'll hand it over to Samantha.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about user experience analytics, which, as Dan mentioned, is a subset of tools within the umbrella of platform analytics. It is our out-of-the-box solution to help you track how users interact with your ServiceNow applications, no matter the user interface. So as you can see here, whether you're using Next Experience, Core UI, or looking at your portal or mobile builds or virtual agent, user experience analytics is a tool that we have to help you understand the usage of those applications. You can go to next slide. So user experience analytics helps you answer common behavioral questions around adoption, engagement, retention, and overall performance of your applications. And what we mean by that is page performance, so load time, etc. It's intended to help you understand how you can improve the design of your applications and make it easier for users to navigate them and find the information that they need or use the tools that they need to within that application. While it is, and Rob, you can go to the next slide, yeah. While it is a tool that helps you understand the overall usage of your applications, there are a couple of features within user experience analytics that will be useful to knowledge managers or help you understand the usage of your knowledge articles. One of those tools is navigation paths. And that you can find within user experience analytics. If you go within the navigation, you can find the navigation paths. This really helps you understand the user's journey through your application. So I have a screenshot here of an example navigation path where this is an employee portal, and you can see that some folks immediately go to a knowledge article whenever they start their session. And that would be like, an example of that would be an outside link that someone clicks that brings them directly to a knowledge article rather than them starting on the homepage of your portal. There's also a couple of other steps in there that show knowledge articles. So this will just really help you understand how are your users getting to knowledge articles, and then what are they doing after they view a knowledge article. You can go to the next slide. Another tool that we have within user experience analytics is reviewing page details. So in the example that I have here, this is the overall knowledge page. You can understand the number of sessions where people view knowledge articles, the overall number of page views, the average duration someone spends on a knowledge article, and the average load time or the page performance. And this here, I do want to help y'all understand, this is a holistic view of the knowledge page. It doesn't necessarily break down individual knowledge articles, since as you should be aware that like all knowledge articles are hosted on the same page design and are just surfaced because they have different IDs. So this would help you understand overall the usage of your knowledge articles, not necessarily break down by knowledge article, though there is a feature within user experience analytics called events where you can see what your most popular knowledge articles are too. I don't think I have a slide on that, but that is another feature that we have there as well. Now, finally, with user experience analytics, it is a different data source than where you get your data for performance analytics, but you can surface user experience analytics data within your platform analytics dashboards. So that is events, sessions, and users can all be surfaced. And I can share a link in the chat that has more information or documentation on that. So you can actually pull in user experience analytics into your platform analytics dashboards that you customize. And I will monitor the Q&A and answer questions where I can there, but we should move on to the next topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha and Darren. Okay, so I am going to go quick. Some great questions in the chat. I've been trying to answer, I'm sorry, in the Q&A. So I've been trying to answer those as we go. Some of those I will touch on in this portion, and we'll get to as many as we can in the Q&A section as well. So please keep that coming. Again, this voice is Rob Martonsik. So I'm going to look at our out-of-the-box purpose-built dashboards for knowledge management real quickly. This was covered a little bit in the last session. As mentioned in the Q&A, that session was not correctly posted. So I will repost that. It was the Xanadu overview in the last Academy. So I will make sure that that gets posted as well directly after this Academy. So we're going to talk about the knowledge management overview, the knowledge management dashboard, and I'm just going to mention some application-specific dashboards, and then we'll get into the concepts around searching. So just let's jump to a demo quickly. And this probably has logged me out, so let me log back in real quick while it's doing that. The first question I want to just touch on real quick is our doc site is great. We try and load it up with as much information to quickly get to as possible, as well as there's a lot of YouTube channels and the academies that we've just covered. There's a reference slide at the end of this, which will give you the links and the QR code for jumping to all of those as well. But in the doc site, there's platform analytics solutions with knowledge management, and you can get to things like these dashboards, the overview and knowledge management dashboard. So it'll cover a lot of what I'm about to cover here, but what I want you to know is that at the bottom, it also outlines all of the metrics that are currently included. In this section, I am going to try and show quickly a demo of modifying a out-of-the-box dashboard as well. So first off, I want to talk to the knowledge management overview dashboard. At the header of this, you'll see it's called knowledge management overview dash copy. Basically, I am in a demo system that has not a lot of data in this. So I've gone through and created a copy of this dashboard, which is what I'll show you in just a minute. And just updated some of the filters to pull a little bit more data, make the graphics a little bit more visually usable. So what I want to talk to here is that this dashboard's focused on the process side of knowledge management. It's things like how many articles are we creating? Do our users like our articles? What is their usage? And who of our team is working on them, right? So the article lifecycle is the first tab. These metrics are pretty obvious and self-explanatory, but the value here is to understand how active our team is in creating knowledge to help our employees, customers, and agents. How many articles are in review or being drafted? If we have if we have any articles that are expiring, we will see that. So this is very useful to make sure that we're going back and reviewing our articles. hopefully before they expire, at least touching them regularly so that we know that they're up to date, and that they're still relevant. And lastly, are we creating new articles? So in the last few academies, we've talked about using Now Assist in the process of incident management or working with our customers' workflows or HR to use Now Assist to build knowledge articles. So we want to see, are we creating articles? Are those things getting published? Are they going through the review process? And if we have any custom workflows for publication, are articles getting stuck? And we need to look into that. Second tab is kind of my favorite. It's where I think we get the most value as knowledge managers to how we can improve. This is the article feedback, right? Do our customers approve of what we're doing here? Do they approve of our articles? Are there any broken articles or items? This dashboard is very helpful in that it's clickable as well. So as a knowledge manager, you can drill into this, look at those articles, mark not helpful, and jump to them quickly to be able to edit them, follow up on them, or update them as necessary. Article ratings in the last 30 days, take a look at, how articles are being rated. If we're doing an improvement effort to our knowledge articles, are those published articles trending upwards in terms of being useful? Article usage. So here we can see over time if if certain articles are being viewed more often than not. Here you can see my KB1 has 17 views. It's the highest viewed article. We can make sure that we spend a little additional time on that specific article to make sure that it's helpful. Maybe we even use that as an indicator that we should be doing some proactive knowledge management and sending out communications, posting something to our portals that preempts people even needing to search for some information. Knowledge use versus article views. That's a common question I get as well. Use is when you attach an article to a task. Article views is just simply when that article has been looked at. Both of those are good metrics to have in your pocket. And author metrics, this one's sometimes as a smaller shop, or if we have a dispersed population, we can take a look at articles that are being authored by certain people. One of the items here that I was going to do is actually show how we could add a metric here to look at article ratings by author. So do we have a problem with a certain author who's actually not getting high ratings on their articles that they're building out? So I'll jump back to that in just a second, but this is the knowledge management overview. This is an out of the box dashboard. This one was rebuilt from the legacy version on the next experience. So if you were pre-Washington, you may have the older version of this dashboard on the doc site. You can see just by searching for knowledge management overview how to update your pointer to get to the next experience version of this dashboard. The second dashboard is the knowledge management dashboard. I know that naming is excellent between the two, but knowledge management dashboard here is focused on the outcomes of our Zing search. And this is content usage by searching for knowledge and using knowledge over time. So it's kind of a different view of that knowledge use versus knowledge view, but it also has the click-through rank. And this is when people search for knowledge, how often do they click through? What is the average click rank? So if I search for a topic, where does it rank in the list of searched items? And then you can also see this for authenticated versus unauthenticated users. This is a demo system. All of my demo usage of this has been through authenticated users, but that's helpful just to see, your employees versus external individuals searching for knowledge. Content governance. Kind of similar to the last dashboard in looking at how quickly are we getting through our process. This can be helpful too if you have custom workflows that are a little bit more stringent. And content quality. So again, this is going through looking at some of that feedback information so that we can make changes to our articles if we need to, or looking at articles that have been abandoned. They don't have authors tied to them any longer. So we can go back and make changes to those. So real quick, I just want to take a look at this. These dashboards are built on the platform analytics that Dan just covered, and there's an edit button here. If you have the rights to edit these dashboards, you can go in. They're pretty straightforward. After you get used to the interface, you can click on a given dashboard and you'll see the data sources. For the most part, you don't need to change that. You'll see the metric, whether this is a count, a summation. You can group by to get what the columns and are going to be, and you can change the format. So if we wanted to, we could come up here and add a new element. I'm not going to save any of this, but if we wanted to here, we can add a new element to the table. So let's do. I'm not going to be able to go into too much depth, but this was a common question on our last Academy, so I want to make sure that we talk to it a little bit. So here I've gone to the knowledge feedback, and you can see that that has updated here at the bottom. And I can go to add columns. What do I want to display? And I want to display the article, author, name, and the article rating. Okay. All right. So now let's edit the filter here. So this is saying that it's an active article, and let's do rating is not empty. So at least it has a rating. Now we want to come down to sort by, and let's sort the article rating. So now here we can see quickly our article authors who are rated very low, and we can jump to the details of this. So now we can save this. I did forget to mention, whenever you are editing this dashboard, oftentimes the best thing to do is create a duplicate of the existing dashboard so that you can have your own version. So this might be regional, it might be per knowledge base, etc. But this would give you the ability to have specific dashboards for specific purposes. So that's what I want to talk to real quick with the dashboards. And the last piece I want to talk to is our knowledge portal. Now, we've generally moved to the Employee Center for our employees to use. So if you're using Employee Center or Employee Center Pro, we recommend you go with this. With that, but for an example, we also give you the knowledge portal as an example of how to incorporate AI search into your knowledge management process and for your employees. So here, with AI search, we get a little bit more full feature than we get with our Zing search that I talked to on that last dashboard. Whenever I search for, can I download music files on my computer, you can see just using natural language, it's starting to provide me search results that are relevant and a little bit easier to use than our Zing search. So really proud of AI search and where that's going. So with the AI search, you get AI search analytics. So that will bring me to the next portion of our presentation, and I think I just stopped screen sharing, so I apologize. Give me just 1 second. And all right. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cecilia, I believe.
Yep, thanks, Rob. Can we go to the next slide?
We sure can.
I think we might need to go through maybe a couple more slides to get to the AI search analytics. Yes, this is correct. All right. I'm Cecilia, everyone. I'm a product manager for AI search. Today I'm going to talk to you about the AI search analytics. So this is AI search analytics as a dashboard that comes with the advanced management tool for AI search. And it's a dashboard that looks across all the search applications, including the knowledge management search application, and provides you with some insights to drive better search experience. So in the dashboard, it allows you to pick the search application. And once you have picked, like, for example, knowledge management, it shows you the high-level usage metrics, such as like how many search users are there using your application, and then how many queries that occurred. Those are the good metrics to tells you the search usage at a high level, as well as we can see like average response time, average click position, and those are strong indicators for the search performance. This dashboard also allows you to pick a date range. So if you want to see how search has evolved over time, there is a trend line in the dashboard that allows you to understand how the user behavior has changed, or any configuration within search has an impact for the user across time. And last but not least, it has more insights available on the query information that tells you what are the top queries in the given time period, and what are the queries with clicks and queries with no clicks. And those information can help you really understand why search is performing this way, and if there is any knowledge gaps that we need to address to improve the search performance. With that said, I'm going to pass over to Ant for us to double click into the actual dashboard.
Thanks, Cecilia. My name's Anthony Paquette. I am a development manager for the AI Search UX team. So my team not only builds the components used for global search or service portal search and other interfaces, but we also have built this analytics dashboard. While it's a custom dashboard, it still uses off-the-shelf visualizations that are provided by the performance analytics team. So I'll bring up the dashboard here. This is a sample system within within ServiceNow. So this instance has quite a few users and search activity. In the dropdown, I'm just selecting the global search. This is the search application that's mapped for global search on this instance. It's got a couple other applications that map to the out-of-the-box portals. So you can filter by the application and by a date range. As Cecilia mentioned, it comes with a lot of great, out-of-the-box metrics, such as number of users. Here I'm looking at the past month for the date range, number of unique users, number of queries, those users executed, the average response time. So we're sub-second here, almost half a second, which is good performance. It even breaks it down further, what number of queries that are maybe longer running, 1 to 2 seconds, and greater than 2 seconds. So performance is looking good. That's just a a quick way to determine if they have any performance issues. Searches over time. In this case, you can see this is an internal site only used as developers are working. So you definitely see a cycle here where the weekends taper off and then most of the activity between Monday and Friday. Some of the more detailed reports, we have these genius results that appear on search results. Some search results, they're the answer at the top of the screen. So we give some indication of how many times those are, or the percentage of time those are being triggered or clicked on. The average click position, this is a good metric to keep an eye on, which tells you how high up in the results set are our users clicking. So generally anything close to 3 and above is a good indicator. It means within the top 3 results, the users are finding something that looks relevant to them and they're clicking on it. The closer this gets to 1, the better. Looks like about 60% of the time, the first result in the list is being clicked on. And self-solve rate is another metric, has a description here, trying to give a bit of an indication of, are people getting to something they find useful? Are they clicking on results, or those genius results? Some more details down here around the top queries for the instance. In this case, we have a couple KB number, a defect number, a keyword. These are small percentages, so the more traffic you have on your instance, it's harder for one particular search to dominate, but this will give you some indication of the top queries. These next two are quite interesting. The queries with no clicks. So this could indicate the need for synonym entries. So let's say JetBrains, that happens to be the company that produces a development tool that many of our engineers use. Perhaps we don't have any KBs that talk about that tool, or maybe it's not referenced by this particular phrase, JetBrains. Maybe I know the name of the tool is IntelliJ, so perhaps we should consider adding a synonym in our dictionary for JetBrains and IntelliJ so that users searching for one or the other will find what they need. And then queries with no results. This could mean that, yes, again, maybe there's no content that matches, maybe there's a synonym that's needed. So these are both reports that are actionable. We can monitor these and see what might be going on with your content or with your searches. We also have the top clicked results. So these are the actual titles of KB articles or other records that have been clicked on, again, with percentages. This could tell you sort of what your most popular content is with respect to search. And if we drill into this additional page here, which displays even more of the search terms, you can drill into some more details. For this particular keyword, you can see the results that were clicked on. And there's I think this should scroll over to the right. For example, that searching for GLL, that's the acronym for Glide Launcher Lite. It's a way of running the ServiceNow platform. And so people searching for that keyword often find this KB, which most provides some high-level detail on that tool. So this could sort of reinforce or verify that people searching for the keywords you expect them to be searching for are making it to the content that you think is best, and can provide some guidance on whether or not to rewrite the title or expand the synonyms so that people are finding what the content that will most likely answer their questions. And then you can get back to the main dashboard. So that's all for the demo. I guess I'll hand it back to our moderator.
Thank you so much. I am going to steal the screen share again. All right, there are some great questions in the Q&A. So I have been trying to answer a few of those. It looks like the team is answering a lot of those. So we're nearly at the Q&A section. So just as a quick recap of what we've covered. Analytics, there's lots of different offerings that are available. The platform analytics, we've talked about the direct table reporting and how the dashboards can leverage that. Then we've talked about trending with the performance analytics part of the platform analytics and how that focuses on capturing data over time to display it. And even the user experience analytics and how our individual users are actually touching and navigating through the system to get to the experience that they're seeing. So after that, we touched a little bit on the purpose-built dashboards. So the overview and the knowledge management dashboard are out-of-box great places to start. There's been a few questions in the chat about how to get to those and whether or not they're displaying on the doc site. It lists specifically how to get to them if you're not seeing the knowledge management dashboard may require you to turn on the dashboard through the platform analytics, and it actually walks you through that in the guided setup. So that's outlined in that that dashboard's doc site as well. AI search, thank you so much for the overview of that. If you have a lot of interest in AI search and how to make the search results better and more attuned to what your teams are searching for, the last AI Search Academy was a joint effort between the AI search team and myself, and we talked through how to tailor the search criteria and the search weighting, and how to build knowledge management articles that are tailored to searching and Now Assist. So I hope those topics were of interest. The custom built dashboards is a huge topic that our teams would be glad to help with, but there's a lot of information out online about the reporting. And our partners have done a lot of great things if you have very detailed, specific needs there. So I hope this coverage was useful. I want to open this up for questions, but the way that we're going to do this is tackling the ones that are in the Q&A. I've asked the panelists to look through them, and if there's anything specific they want to bring to everybody, to please go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to drop down the line of our presentation. So Dan, anything that you want to bring to the forefront here?
Let me take myself off mute. So I to do this. Yeah, a couple of thoughts on this. One is, I know what we have been demonstrating so far has been we call kind of our next experience UI. If you are not familiar with it, hopefully you will become familiar with it very soon. It's next experience. We have migrated dashboards from the legacy dashboard systems that were the default really up until Tokyo, into an entirely new UI to make it a lot easier to build dashboards. So a lot of what we're demoing is in the new UI called Next Experience. Another term you'll hear often is Platform Analytics Experience. So it's using experiences instead of the previous just page loads or dashboard loads. So a dashboard is an experience. That's one point I wanted to make. Let's see. I had one marked as a question live. There was a question. I think I might kind of open this up to the group here. Let's ask one question that says, can you review more as to what is considered article usage? I know there are potentially different ways, and Rob, certainly feel free to jump in if you have thoughts on this too. I look at, since I'm purely the reporting guy, I look at it and says, what data fields do we have in the tables? What fields do we have in the table? So I would say, yeah, look at a table and say, there is a table called, there's a knowledge, I think it's called knowledge it's it's like knowledge attachment tasks. It's not called that exactly. I put it in the chat for one of the other answers, but that actually talks about keeps a record of every knowledge article that is attached to any task. So, like when you're on an incident or a case, you have the option to say, I want to attach a knowledge article. That's probably the easiest way to do that, to say I'm attaching a knowledge article. And then the table there's a table that captures the intersection of the knowledge article and the incident or case that knowledge article was used on. So that's a really great table to use, and I will grab it from the chat and put it in the general chat as well here. But those are the
Yeah,
two things I
so
wanted to
if
talk
you
briefly.
actually use the dashboards and edit them the way that I just showed, you'll be able to see all of that Dan's actually talking to, because you'll see in the usage table where the usage and view table is identical. It's just a flag on each record that says, was this a view? Was this a use? So you'll be able to measure directly from there. And as he just talked about, it's whenever you're in an incident and you attach the article, and the article can automatically be attached whenever you're viewing and searching for knowledge from Agent Assist or recommended actions. You'll have the panel on the right hand side, and when you view the article, you could say this was useful, and it will attach the article directly to the incident. Um, and that counter will go up. So there's been a ton of questions, not just in this chat, but in most of my conversations around customers trying to find the attach rate, which is different than the click-through rate, but the number of incidents, customer records, HR records that have knowledge articles attached to it, that is how you would execute that. And generally, that execution would be done on each application dashboard, not necessarily the knowledge management dashboard. So I hope that's helpful. Dan, thank you for jumping on that one. I'll turn it back over to you.
Sure. Let's see. I'm just trying to look through some of these that are a little more general type of questions that are out there. Um, so it's like, how do we tweak the time frames on the dashboards? That is something you can add filters to any dashboard. If it's an out of the box dashboard, if you want to modify that, you will, as Rob mentioned earlier, you need to create a duplicate of it. But one of the types of filters that you can add is a date range filter. So I could just say I want a filter to apply to everything on this page that says that a filter that applies to everything on the page that says I just want the date range from August 1st to August 31st, or whatever that date range is. We did an academy on just filtering on dashboards back in June. I'm gonna go grab that one and get a link for it, and I'll put that in the general chat as well.
And I'm trying to demo on the screen while Dan's talking, but some of the data sources that have a condition on it, there's also a condition under the group by, and then there is a trend by where you can set how it's grouped in terms of time frame. There is also one more place that I cannot remember for the life of me, and maybe it's under metric, where you can add another filter, but each of these different visualization types have different filtering options in each section. So it's simply changing the time range, like Dan had mentioned, or the trended grouping. And also, as Dan mentioned, there's a lot of academies around and learnings around analytics. So Dan, did you have any more you wanted to
I
touch on?
did put I don't know, on one of the written answers I did put the a link to the now learning learning path, the learning path for, and so that's one that we probably will want to grab that and just post it in the general when we post this whole session.
Okay, and there was a question on the line that I want to answer too, around demand usage and looking for knowledge gaps. So that we didn't cover in here because that's specifically around machine learning and configuring that to find those gaps is an excellent tool. It just takes a high level of data and some configuration that I didn't want to delve into here because it's probably worthwhile an academy of its own. But in that same vein, we also have some stuff coming on the roadmap that's going to help with knowledge gaps and knowledge quality. It's a little too early to get into on this call, but just keep your ears and eyes open. There's more coming on that. But in the meantime, if you're desperate for knowledge gap, take a look at knowledge demand insights, and that's on the doc site as well. Let me just go down the line. Samantha, did you have anything you wanted to answer directly?
There's a couple of questions related to, and I did answer these in the chat, but I'll just say it out loud too. Related to the ability to view user experience analytics. It is available out of the box. It does not require any kind of pro SKU, so it'll come with any of your licensing. You do need to be assigned a specific user role or set of user roles that are available. And I did add that documentation into the chat as well as into the Q&A. So just work with your admin to get assigned that user role if you don't have access to it through the all menu now.
Thank you. Cecilia, Ant, anything you want to answer? We've got a few more minutes left.
I've been responding to some of the Q&A, separately. I would just say that, the AI search analytics is actually part of a store app called Advanced AI Search Management Tools. It's a free store app. And you can actually access the dashboard directly, or then installing that store app would add a menu item to the user experience dashboards, specifically for search analytics. So you need that store app, and then you should be able to access the dashboard I was demoing earlier.
Wonderful. Since you were just talking, can you confirm that the Academy screen is up on the screen share right now?
Yes.
Yes, I see academies.
Thank you so much. Okay, so just before anybody drops, I want to make sure that the link to these references are out there. I'll drop back a screen and talk about the next academy. But since we kind of did the round robin there, I just want to see if there's any more that I can answer. There are a few questions here at the top of my list that focus on auto filtering by manager owner. There's one here about volume of articles that have been created or updated. I really hope that in that demonstration of how we can take a dashboard and modify it, we've answered that question. So you could see how I simply took the columns that I wanted to view, added them to the dashboard, and then did a group by or a filter by that. So there's a lot of flexibility and options around that. I really recommend taking a look at the analytics academies if you want to walk through of how to edit, how to evaluate reports, how to use trending, etc., to get more detail there. We're not going to really be able to delve too deep into development of reports. Let me just read through a couple more of these, see if we have any more time to answer. So there's a question here about feedback. And I don't know if I can answer that one directly, but since you guys are all, interested in knowledge management, we're getting a lot of feedback on feedback. So we're collecting that, we're reviewing it. I know that there's some pain points around feedback. There is a learning session, the foundations 1 and 2, that talks about feedback and how you can best leverage it. I know that some of you have high volumes of feedback records and you want to be able to work on them in different ways. So just please keep sending your, I can't stop using the word. Please keep sending your feedback to your sales reps so that they can get it to us. We're combining all of that and evaluating every time to make our product better. So keep the feedback coming. Okay, we answered about the timeframes. I don't know if there's a best practice baseline number for click-through rates and click rank. I think that's a living, moving target, and you just try and get it as high as you can. The AI analytics workshop that we talked that I just mentioned. This was last month. It was the October session. May have some more comments around that. So check that academy. There may be some more in there for you. All right, so we have about 4 minutes left. Before I run out of time, I just want to say that there won't be a session in December. I am going to be with family out of town. So there won't be a session in December. So look out for the next session in January. And I will try and post maybe an Academy short or a white paper in the meantime. You guys have put a lot of good questions in here, so I'll see if there's something I can put out before January just to answer a few more of these questions. So look out for the recording posted to our community space. We will PDF the presentation, and we will try and answer some more of the Q&A and post the Q&A summarized as a PDF as well to the community site. I hope this was informative, and I hope you found this useful. If you have any recommendations for future academies, please drop that in the chat or in the Q&A as well, so I can capture that. I need some ideas, guys, so I really appreciate it. Thank you for the claps and feedback. And thank you, my team of product managers. I really appreciate all of your time and input and preparation for this. So, thank you, and until next time.